So today I want to introduce a new series called Finding History. This is where we're going to go to gravesides, talk about these individuals, their accomplishments, their legacy, those types of things. We'll eventually maybe do something in the shorts area with that as well. I actually got the idea from Pat. They've been sending me a bunch of different stuff from Find a Grave of intriguing and individual that have done some really neat things, have neat stories about them, that type of stuff. A lot of it surrounding around the Mount Lebanon Cemetery, so a lot of Lebanon individuals. But there's also like one that I thought about doing as well. In this area, in Lebanon County, we have what's called Lebanon Bologna. And it's very much a Dutch and local area thing. It's a more spicy bologna. It's oh gosh, it's delicious. You either love it or you hate it. I love it. And we had visited the one, I think is Waterworks United Methodist Cemetery. It's now a Mennonite church. But I even think, maybe I even mentioned it in the video, I have to look at it, but I saw a seltzer there, and I might even mention the bologna, but I don't know. But he is buried there, the guy that founded it. In Palmyra, Pennsylvania. So he's somebody I'd like to talk about, and all these number of other individuals that are, I figured this would be a good start with Milton Hershey and H.B. Reese. Just happened to be going through Hershey, and I was like, you know what, I did the Milton Hershey Pennsylvania Historic Marker. I was like, I'm going to do this. So this will be a new series that we'll wind out doing. Since I'm getting all this information from Pat, I'd like to utilize this and actually go and visit their graves and then talk about a little bit of their legacy. So welcome to the new series, Finding History. Thanks, everybody.
Hey, everybody. So we are here in Hershey Cemetery in Hershey, Pennsylvania, and we are at the Milton S. Hershey Memorial. So let's turn this around. So here you can clearly see the Hershey Memorial. It's a beautiful memorial. Here on the left, you have Milton S. Hershey. Catherine Sweeney, who died, she had trouble with her health and died quite early. They never were able to have children, and this is his mother, Fanny P. Hershey, and his father, Henry H. Hershey. This is a beautiful place, and we're actually going to also visit H.B. Reese's burial place as well. He was buried in the same cemetery. But Milton Hershey, without denial, he changed the industry. He created an industry really with chocolate, because here in the New World in America, chocolate was something that only the rich could afford, and he felt that everybody should be able to have a chocolate treat. I worked for a Hershey company for 12 years. It's a great place to work. Thank you, Milton S. Hershey. Hey, everybody. So here we are once again in the Hershey Cemetery, and we are at the Reese burial plot. There's a couple of them in here because the family is quite extensive, but this is where Harry B. Reese is buried, the creator and a founder of the Reese Company, the Reese's Peanut Butter Cup. We have him to thank for. He's really an extraordinary man, and it's really neat that you can be able to visit a place like this where this is his last resting place. So as you can see, there's the Reese marker, and then right here we have Harry B. Reese, 1879 to 1956. Now part of the Hershey Company, but really he was a guy who originally worked for the Hersheys and then wound out going out on his own and creating the Reese's Peanut Butter Cup that we all know and love.
You really have to be impressed, and it can't be understated what Milton Hershey accomplished. He really put everything he owned on the line to not only create this product that he thought would be huge, being chocolate at that time. This was a luxury for the rich. It was not something that the common man had access to in America. He also believed in creating a town unlike the company towns that you saw of that time, where they were hellholes, basically. He wanted to create, in essence, a utopia. And you look further on at the strike that was had. He maybe took, say, more of a patronizing tone with the people. It was like, the overbearing parent, and that sort of upset people. But overall, you can really look at his legacy and really be impressed with what he was able to accomplish. And like I said earlier, he put everything on the line. These guys were entrepreneurs. They took a chance on something that was not common, something that they saw to the future, and said this could be something that could be, if it's done correctly, the common man can afford, and it could have, limitless opportunity. And in going for that, he really, if you look at history, he put everything on the line. And he even started creating the town and the factory that he wanted before he even had the chocolate perfected. And so he was definitely a risk taker, and you have to commend him as well for what he and his wife Catherine did with the Milton Hershey School. So he's a guy that's worth celebrating, really interesting individual, and I thought he and H.B. Reese would be the perfect start to the Finding History series. So let's talk about H.B. Reese. The other legacy that you look at is that of H.B. Reese. A lot of people don't know he actually worked for Hershey on one of the dairy farms he wound up running. I think it was their largest dairy farm, and they let him go. They fired him. I guess they work-wise and stuff like that wasn't there, and maybe the amount of milk they thought should be produced wasn't what they thought it was. But he was sort of out on his own, and he talked to his wife. They had kids, and this was not a good time to lose your job. At any time, it's not a good time. But he decided to go back into chocolate making, which is something he had been passionate about and done before. And so he started creating chocolates, and he had a middling success, but he knew as an entrepreneur he had to create something that was different from what else was out there, because there was a ton of these little small chocolate companies that he was competing with, and he felt like I need to do something in this regard. So he started experimenting and eventually came up with this chocolate cup. And what am I going to fill it with? He decided to try peanut butter, and just the combination of peanut butter and the chocolate just works so extraordinarily well. And he started to have the success that created this iconic product that's one of the most favorite in the world. And it's another example of one of these individuals where he put everything on the line and risked it all. And in a lot of ways didn't have a choice, and wound up finding tremendous success. Eventually the Reese company was bought out by Hershey, and it's the product that we know and love today. So in closing, I'd have to say that the candy industry in general in America and really internationally was changed by these two men. Even can be said that M&M Mars would not exist as it does today if it was not for the help of Hershey, because Mars wound up coming to William Murray and asking about getting a line of credit to use Hershey's chocolate so he could expand. At the time, he had the Snickers bar and Milky Way bar, but he wanted to go national, and he could only do that if he had a source of chocolate that was high quality and that he could count on. And Hershey gave him that line of credit. And his son later on came in when he developed the M&Ms, and it's actually named after Mars and Murray, William Murray's son. And once again, without that help in that regard, maybe we wouldn't have some of the iconic brands that we have today for an M&M Mars. So, it really, these two guys, especially Milton Hershey, really started this extraordinary industry and went into the mass industry of creating a mass amount of products at a time that you didn't, it was starting with the industrial age, but you had that more with cars and like those types of things. It hadn't really gone into food at that stage. So he was a visionary. H.B. Reese was a visionary. They both took these extraordinary chances, and because of them, we have so many of these iconic products that we enjoy today. They aren't terribly good for us, but They are delicious. So I want to say thank you for everybody for coming along, and as always, we'll see you all about town.
Hey, I just want to say thank you for watching the video. If you could please like and subscribe. If you haven't already done so, that would be great. And we also have a Facebook page. We have an Instagram page. If you'd like to support the channel, there is a Patreon. There are ways of contacting us at thehometownhistorian@gmail.com, and also via mail at P.O. Box 143, Annville, Pennsylvania 17003. All that information is on the descriptions of each video and also in the about for the channel. So thank you once again, and we'll see you all about town.